We are doing something called whirlpooling. Watch your step there, Rich. Starting a brewing business can be a challenge, but starting any business can be a challenge. You want to wind that up for me? Sure. Danke. We have to go through all the same problems of any small manufacturing business. And if you know anything about small manufacturing businesses in America, you know that not a lot of those products are being sold at Walmart. Got to remember that I'm mic'd. Got a foul mouth sometimes. What looks easy, selling beer, is actually a complicated model for sales.
Hold my beer and watch this.
I sell beer to a wholesaler or a distributor, as it's called. The wholesaler in turn sells it to the retailer, and then the retailer sells it to you, the consumer. If you don't get your beer distributed and you don't get your beer at a retail shop, it doesn't matter how much you talk to consumers. If the beer is not out there and available to them, it's not something that they can get. We are taking the wort out of the kettle through a pump and recirculating it back into the kettle in a fashion that a fitting inside the kettle comes in at an angle and makes all the liquid in the kettle spin. And when the liquid spins, there are solid proteins that you've gotten in the wort from the boil that will come to the middle, and we let it rest after we do this for a half an hour, and those proteins settle out. It's called trub, spelled T-R-U-B, pronounced trub. And that trub is something you want to leave behind. You decant the clear wort off the trub into the fermenter, and then the trub gets tossed with the spent brewer's grain. Craft beer has changed the way we look at beer in this country. Some people in California and some of the craft brewers and Anchor Steam and some other people started to really push the envelope with flavors and quite frankly creating new beers. New beers that quality was much more important than quantity when you drank them. Beers that really went well with food. For instance, our Backfin Pale Ale is a very medium bodied pale ale that goes with a lot of food. It really, we've really designed that beer to work with food. It's got enough flavor to stand up to seafood and eating crabs or shrimp or something, but it's not so overpowering that it doesn't leave room for the food. So yeah, pairing food and beer is much more like the wine industry has historically been, and we now share that with the wine people, where people think about what kind of beer they're going to drink with specific foods. What you're looking at here is the spent brewer's grain. After we make a batch of beer and we've extracted all the sugar from the malted barley, you're left with this. And a local farmer will come and pick up our spent brewer's grain, and he feeds it to his cattle. The larger brewers will actually produce so much spent brewer's grain that they sell it as feed, and it's a profit center for the big guys. People want variety, people want choice, and people want something that has a little bit of flavor, or maybe a lot of flavor for that matter. And I think as much as you see it out there, craft beer, and as much press as it's got, I think we're just scratching the surface right now. And in addition to the wonderful time we have making the beer here, there's nothing better than grabbing a fresh cold one straight from the tap on the other side of the brewery. Ah, that's fresh. We've done a tremendous job of establishing a customer base and a brand, and I feel like I'm at the launching point for something that could be big. With the Backfin, something that would be big regionally, and with some new products that we have ideas for, something that would be beyond the Chesapeake region and maybe take something national. We see a big future, and it comes with growing smart and making good beer and getting the word out, and that's really where our focus is going to be.